Unleavened loaf ladies and buffer zone boys. Reanimate your Dead Sea Scrolls. Plant a grove of olive trees. And you know what this rock needs? A huge dome over it.
Observe as I take one episode of Talk Tull to Me and change it into thousands.
It's a miracle. This podcast's enough for everyone. Welcome back to the podcast. I am Omen Sade.
And I'm Nick McGill.
Together we are Feckless Momes.
And this, my Jesus Discs, is Talk Tull to Me.
A holy canton in the contested holy lands of prog rock, in which new wine into old wineskins Nick and oblate Omen will do our best to reconcile the competing claims of each and every track that rabbinical rock band Jethro Tull have ever sent down the mountain engraved in stone tablets, or vinyl tablets. We will do our daily devotions to the discipline of the drums, James Duncan.
GDA!
Galvanize ourselves to David Goodyear's golden rule, and hail the Hosanna of the Hammond organ, John O'Hara. And if we can worship false idols in moderation, bop Beelzebub on the brain, and antagonize the anchorites, we might just make it up the mount to hear the sermon of the fig tree flautist, the hunk of Herod's gate, the chinwagger of the Western Wall, a man for whom Christians, Jews, and Muslims are all equally annoying. Ian, I'm on a strict gluten-free, teetotaling vegan diet. Nothing on the Jesus menu is good for me. Anderson.
Did you ever see the musical that's based off of like the Pop Panic in the 50s?
Reefer Madness?
Reefer Madness, yes.
I've not seen them. No, I haven't.
No?
I haven't
Oh
seen
my
it. Is
God.
it fun?
It's very silly. And there's a point where Jesus comes out
Okay.
and throws like crackers into the crowd and goes, body of me.
That's funny.
It's a very funny show.
That sounds good. I can't believe I haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm
I
shocked.
can't believe it. I can believe it.
Yeah,
Believe it. Seeing is believing.
but you didn't see it.
Not seeing is also believing.
Oh,
Nick,
okay.
here we are back in Feckless Momes 1, the studio.
To the stars.
Yep,
It's us though.
that's us.
Yeah.
And here we are to talk about the 5th or 6th track off of Curious Ruminant.
7th.
No.
It is?
No, that's crazy talk.
Because there's 9 tracks.
Stop with the
And
madness,
we've
Nick.
got 2 more after this.
Well,
Math.
we're on a track of the album, and it is called, Nick,
Over Jerusalem.
or in Latin, Over Jerusalem.
It's not just a pouty little, 5-year-old
No.
with a speech impediment.
I speak Latin.
Oh, okay.
That's how you do it.
Silly me.
Yeah. I think we're going to do our best to talk about this track without getting ourselves too upset about the present situation that is unfolding in Jerusalem and Palestine, and yet we might get upset about it, and so might you, and that's a reasonable reaction.
I think that's a safe warning, a safe caveat for this episode.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's have a listen to this track in our ears.
6 minutes. 6 minutes.
The stigmata of getting my ear pierced. Nick McGill.
Omen.
Hey,
Omen Sade.
that was a pretty tasty, delicious track that we just listened to.
6 minutes. Wrapped in grape leaves. Yeah, pretty good.
Great. You know, this song is part of the Mediterranean diet.
So longevity is really the result.
If you-
the end result here.
If you eat one of these songs a day, your blood sugar goes down.
Okay.
Your blood pressure goes up.
Yeah.
Your feet get webbed. All the things that you need to live a long time.
Okay. That's great. That's exciting.
Thank you. Just off of the wicket, do you enjoy the listening to this song? And be honest.
It's a bit circuitous
Okay.
and slightly repetitive.
Oh.
I find it's not my favorite off of the album.
I definitely think it's not my favorite off of the album, but I appreciate the complexity of it
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that it has a number of fairly simple sections that are all put together in a way that that really feels like a journey. You know, it feels like there's a lot there. A lot has been ruminated upon for the production of this song.
Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting way to put it. We'll also kind of, I think, get into this idea for the next track as well. This idea of these kind of disparate parts put together.
Right.
But that being said, this one stays pretty cohesive.
I agree, which
Yeah.
is, not necessarily easy because the topic of Jerusalem is one in which, you could do an entire album just about the city of Jerusalem.
Please
Please don't. Ian, if you can hear our voice, don't do it.
Please don't. But still.
Someone keep Ian away from our podcast.
Oh, no, don't worry. He's been doing that himself.
So I almost would want to listen to it several more times before I'm able to say, oh, yeah, that's my memory of the song. Because I'm like, oh, here's my memory of this part. Here's my memory of this part.
Yeah.
And I haven't integrated them yet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. So everybody stop and listen to it 3 more times.
Yep.
You know what? Set aside a whole half an hour. Just listen to it 5. Just round it out.
Oh, yeah, because of math.
Because of math, it's a 6-minute song.
Yeah, somebody once told me that 6 minutes is 1/10 of an hour. That blew my
I
mind.
wonder who that was.
It was you.
It was a smart, handsome man.
No, I said it was you.
Oh, okay.
Nick, musically,
Musically.
there's a lot going on here.
Overall,
There's a lot.
there's a lot. But before we get into specifics, we were talking,
Yeah.
this has such a Zealot Gene sound.
It feels like it could very much be a lost track from Zealot Gene. And you know what? Maybe it was.
Maybe it was. That's actually really valid.
Because, he was talking about how this album came together was kind of like, oh, I have this bit of music that I've been working on. So it could have been inspired by the same flautist that gave Ian his Zealot Gene inspiration.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
Or it could be, this isn't a topic that he only explored in that album. This could be from any time in his career.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not specifically saying the topic. I mean, the topic does fit in Zealot Gene wise, but also sonically, it fits in perfectly in that trio of Where Did Saturday Go,
Yes.
3 Loves 3, and
Fisherman of Ephesus?
No, the one that I love the most. It's the one that I love the most, Omen.
I'm not a Jethro Tull
You're not
song.
a Jethro Tull song. No, the song is In Brief Visitation.
gosh.
Yes.
So yeah, there is a tune in this, and it's that kind of lilting,
Acoustic.
acoustic offbeat guitar.
Yeah.
And it really does feel, I think it's most similar to Where Did Saturday Go? It almost is like a cousin of Where Did Saturday Go?
It's so close, yeah.
When we first start out, we have the flute and guitar coming in, giving us flashbacks to things like Songs from the Wood, in the sense that it is, for a lot of the intro at least, this is an all Ian all the time track.
I think we've got Glock in there.
Right off the
I
bat,
think we've got splashes of Glock, yeah.
I'll splash my Glock.
Yeah,
Okay.
splashes of Glock.
Splash of Glock. The flute and guitar are so pretty.
So sweet.
I get a little bit of Life's a Long Song vibes from this.
Yeah.
It's not the same tune.
I was gonna say, what about Life's a Long Song?
Well, it's not the same. It's not the same tune, and it's not the same rhythm, and it's not the same instrumentation.
correct.
But besides that, it's very similar.
Just screams Life's a Long Song.
You do have the correct ear that there is Glock in there right off the bat, and the Glock continues coming in and out throughout.
Yes. Yeah. No accordion this round.
It was worn out.
It was on fire.
It burned to the waterline.
Yep. Yep. Had to start from scratch.
Overall, this opening section is very, very acoustically centered.
Yes. Yeah.
Ian comes in singing. This is, I think, the reediest that his voice has sounded on this album so far. Again, let's remember, he is 60,000 years old. He's as old as Doggerland,
And he had COVID.
and he was recovering from COVID.
At one point, yeah.
It's not that the voice sounds bad. It's just I think it sounds a little stronger on some of the other tracks.
And this one he also chose to sing higher in his register, which
Which he's going to have less power.
yeah
at
causes
this
that
point.
stress. Yeah.
But the mix is still good enough that you can really hear the lyrics,
Mhm,
which is
mhm.
nice.
Yeah.
At about 1 minute and 26 seconds,
Yes.
we break our rule of having no electric instruments.
Jack comes in.
Jack comes in. He comes in subtly at first, just kind of giving us broad chords that start amping up the power, kind of shifting the song into second and third gear.
Okay.
There is no time for meditation.
We also, the drums, if they haven't been in at that point, I'm not sure, but at that point they start thickening like a roux.
Yep. James comes in, flour and fat and dairy, and just makes it all into a brown sauce.
Yeah. And it's delicious.
It's delicious. Thank you, James.
Thank you, James, for that delicious drumming roux.
We appreciate it.
They call him the Cajun cajon player. They don't-
Because that's the only place they do a roux.
Right, that's right.
yeah.
That's the only place. What's a
Cajun.
French word?
Cajun cuisine. Oh yeah, I guess so.
Roux. At 2 minutes, we have like a total change.
Like a jazzy feel almost.
almost yeah, uncharacteristically jazzy. Like we've had jazzy sounds here with Tull before, but this is a little different.
It's been 60 years since we heard something jazzy from Tull.
Rocks upon rocks, ashes on ashes.
This is almost kind of a pastiche of jazz, like almost what you would expect to hear if you're on hold with an insurance agent, but not quite.
Right. It's too good.
If you were on hold with an insurance agent and heard this track, you'd be like, wow, they are really spending a lot of money on their phone system.
They really care about their callers.
Is that Jack Clark on the automated phone system? Life out there is hard for a traveling musician.
It's he's midnighting is that what it's called? Midnighting?
Moonlicking.
Moonlighting.
Moonlighting.
Moonlicking.
I was so close.
Midlick.
But it is fun because it totally changes the personality of the song. And that's what I really enjoy about this song is that it changes form, it changes personality
Yeah.
a handful of times within the track.
Which kind of thematically fits.
Yeah, Jerusalem has changed vibes a couple of times.
You could say.
In
And
its-
changed hands.
in its thousands of year old history.
Yeah.
At 2:29, we get a wonderful little suspended section where Ian kind of takes a cadenza, I suppose, where it goes out of the rhythm of the song and he just suspends, goes when he's ready because it's just him and the guitar.
And Jack's pretty plucky and stingy in that section.
Yes.
Sit and dine. Take water and wine.
Then at about 3:20, we have an even more in-depth breakdown. And James is on that cymbal like white on a clan robe. So
Oh
he's
my god.
it's so white.
Yikes. He's like green on ganja.
There you go.
He's like purple on
Barney.
What
What were you going to say?
grapes.
Oh.
Because of the religion
grapes,
theme,
because
Nick.
of the grapes.
Yeah. Yes, we have. There's a quick little gorgeous acoustic
Mhm.
intro, and then we drop into this hard rock sound with Jack doing those quite spicy kind of those 16 note thruns,
Mhm.
and the flute dropping in, the drums picking up, even the bass is, I think, supporting Jack mostly, or maybe we have that a little later. 305, Jack is just doing really fun stuff. It's his moment to take a solo, and man, I'm just really enjoying his approach.
I walk the cobbled alleys nervously. Soldier girls, soldier boys stare at me.
He sounds like he's having fun.
Yeah. And it seems like, especially in this breakdown, I really get the energy that we saw on stage of Ian. Like he used to go over to do it to Martin and like kind of air guitar the flute with
Yes.
him. And then he would do his little flute part. Like we saw that energy exchange between him and Jack during the concert.
Yeah.
I feel like we get that in this breakdown here.
This is when he goes over to Jack, opens up the neck port that he's installed on him, and drinks the sweet youth directly out of his carotid artery.
Just those platelets, those white blood cells. Yeah.
Yum.
Mm.
At 3:30, roughly,
Mm-hmm.
I wrote, "Go, Jack, go!
Go, Jack. You can do it.
Oh, he's bending notes. He's going,
Yeah. Yeah, he's really he's working it on this one.
Sometimes if you don't play your instrument that well,
Mm-hmm.
but you have a really good sense of tone,
Uh-huh.
you can make the instrument sound better than somebody who is actually a better player than you.
Interesting.
Because if you focus on tone, and I'm not saying he's a bad
I
player.
was gonna say I don't think that's a really nice thing to say about Jack.
I take it all back.
He will break up with you.
But get in line. I think that some musicians put focus on the tone of their instrument, and I think that Jack is one of those players, and it is so delightful.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed.
He passes it off to Ian. The bass is supporting
Mm-hmm.
at 3:58,
Yeah, I've got 355-ish.
right?
Ian wraps up that flute run with kind of a little callback to old Ian. We get some breathy fluty moments there. It's real
Yeah.
quick, but it's a little callback.
There's a lot of I feel like this song, as Ian is reviewing the history of Jerusalem,
Mhm.
he is taking us through a review of the different sounds of the ages of Jethro Tull as well.
Really, whether it was intentional or not, it really does feel that way. I mean, all throughout this whole song, and it's not like it doesn't happen in other songs,
Right.
but it feels like very strongly in this song that the instrumentation and everybody really progresses and evolves to get into this much more complex sound by the end of the album.
Do you remember
or
when
the end of the song, rather.
Do you remember that when the Babylonians kicked all the Jews out of Jethro Tull
Oh,
for
God.
500 years?
I do remember that. I'm still shaken up about
I
that.
am too. And then we had that guitarist, Cyrus the Great,
Mm-hmm.
who allowed the Jews to return to Jethro Tull.
You know how I feel about him?
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I feel serious about him.
Sus. Real serious.
Yeah. It's almost like this song
Uh-huh.
is, if it were a pizza,
Yes.
it would be a quattro stagioni.
4 stations.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, wow.
4 seasons.
Oh.
This, you have the mushroom section, the really
Mhm.
earthy section, then you
Mhm.
have the spicy Italiano sausage over here
Okay.
where Jack is playing. And then you have like some nice peppers and onions on this section.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have a 4th section
To do with as you will.
you want an anchovy, put it on there.
Put a single anchovy and bury it in olives.
Yeah.
Slide it through olives, and then wrap it in bacon
Yeah. And put that on a pizza.
and throw it out.
No one will judge you.
Yeah.
For throwing it out. I'm a fan of this song. This is not necessarily one that I will be headbanging to in the
Yeah.
Abarth,
Yeah.
but it is one that I think is important to the soul.
Sure.
I'll be soul banging in the Abarth.
Oh yeah, your soul banging around, and it's so small that if you move too quickly, it just rattles around in there.
and
That's
my
what that
soul
sound is.
never wears a seatbelt.
No.
Really enjoyable. This is consistent with the album in the sense that it is complex. The mix is absolutely probably one of my favorite mixes of any Jethro Tull album.
It's clean. It's very clean.
It's clean and warm.
Yes, it's clean and not hermetically sealed.
Right.
It just came out of the oven,
Right.
but it's not dirty. You
No,
didn't
it's
drop it when
no.
you took it out of the oven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing musicianship.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a good one. It fits with the rest of the album, sonically, thematically, depressingly. And yeah. You want to talk lyrics now?
Whoa.
Bull.
Sure. So, Nick,
Yeah.
Jerusalem.
Yeah.
It is a city with an approximately 5,000 year history. It has been around for a very, very long time. It is one of the older cities in the world, constantly inhabited. The etymology of Jerusalem is kind of fascinating.
Tell me.
So, Yire, where we get the first part of the word, could mean foundation or the laying of a cornerstone.
Okay.
And salam, or shalom, is the same root as the Jewish word salam, which means peace. Or shalom.
Yeah.
Shalom, which means peace. In Arabic, it's salam. But it is related to the name of the pagan god Shalem, who was a deity of the Bronze Age of the city. And it is the same, that name is the same root as the word peace. So it could be variously translated to the city of peace, the dwelling of peace, or the foundation of peace.
Yeah. So it hasn't just been Jews there.
Certainly not.
Yeah.
It has had an extremely long...
And sordid history.
We're still sorting it out.
Yeah. It's not quite sorted.
Mentioned first in Egyptian texts from 2000 BC. It was fortified under Canaanite rule. During the late Bronze Age, it became a vassal of ancient Egypt. It grew in importance and power during the Israelite period, which is when King David captured Jerusalem and made it the capital of the United Kingdom of Israel.
Okay.
Solomon, David's son, built the first temple. Then some things happened. The Babylonians destroyed the temple. I think that's actually where the myth, where the story of Hanukkah comes from. In the destroyed temple, they were like, we got to hold out in this destroyed temple. Oh, there's no oil. Oh, there's one little bit of oil. So
we've got this one anchovy. What do we do?
We light it on
It's
fire.
an oily fish.
But I mean, a lot of Jewish tradition and history and stories come from this period of Jerusalem being founded, taken over, kicked out,
Yeah,
et cetera,
right.
et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And then, of course, J-Man Christo was
J-Dog.
was involved there around 0 BC. Around C.
Right around C.
Yeah.
Christ era.
Yeah. Which was a time of revolt where the Roman Empire had taken over Jerusalem and the Jews were in various ways rebelling.
Not happy about it.
Right. And that we remember, if you think back to our discussions in Zealot Gene, we were talking about how some interpretations of the Christ story was that he was statedly a revolutionary, or that people wanted him to be a revolutionary, but unfortunately he was all about love and peace.
Oh, bummer.
And Judas, in some interpretations, people are saying, well, Judas was the one who was like, no, we really have to get some stuff going to kick out the Romans. And Jesus was like, we have to first kick out the Romans from our hearts.
And did they?
He did.
Oh. So the Romans are the bad guys, regardless, whether it's in Jerusalem or your heart.
Yes. If you
Moral of the story.
if you are an ancient Jew, yes.
Okay. I'm not. But
Are you not?
No.
Oh.
No. I'm sorry. It's been this long. I haven't told
Jesus said, do you know who my dad is?
you. I'll tell my
serious-
dad.
Seriously, I'm asking, do you know who my dad is?
dad.
Am I the hawk? Am I the dove? Am I the vulture swooping down from above?
Am I the hawk? Am I the dove? The vulture swooping down from above.
Well, these three creatures have various symbolic meaning in Judeo-Christian culture.
That they do. Hawk and Dove are DC characters.
Yes, they are.
But they're also the symbol of peace and war.
Yeah, to be a war hawk, or to be a hawk, or to be hawkish is somebody who is angling to get a war going.
Mhm.
We often talk about politicians being hawkish.
Yep.
An unfair usage for the hawk.
For the hawk.
Yeah, they're just hunters. They're carnivores. They live that way.
They're doing their thing.
A hawk has literally never gone to war unless it was brought by a human.
Correct. Yes. It was brought along.
Right.
It did not choose to be there,
No, it was taught.
except for that one.
Except for Warhawk. Am I the dove? The dove is not only the symbol of peace, it is specifically the symbol of It's connected to the
Christianity, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I think that the dove is used as a stand-in for Jesus sometimes, but I think it's because of the flood myth.
Yes. Noah.
Noah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, there's a kind of an older version of the Noah story where he's like, oh my gosh, we really have to find land. And so he says, he looks at all the birds that he has, and he says to the raven, go and find a suitable place, a suitable piece of land for man to live.
He feels very specific right here. I wonder where this is going.
And the raven flies off and never comes back.
Never to return.
And he's like, okay, dove, you're up. Find any land for man to live on. And the dove's like, it's right there. But the dove, therefore, is the symbol of hope.
Sure,
The
right.
raven is still like, well, I don't know.
I get to keep all of this suitable land to myself?
Myself?
Yes, please.
The vulture swooping down from above. The vulture is, of course,
A carrion bird.
yeah, Carrion, my wayward son.
Carrion pigeon.
Ew. So, I mean, and in this, it's very interesting. You know, it's a city named after peace, and it is a city, at least in the moment, very involved in war and the creation of bodies.
It's a city, I would say, remarkably known for the violence that it has been struck with for generations.
Yeah, at least in the last couple centuries.
Yeah.
But probably before that as well. Although at the same time, there were also long periods of peace where Christians and Muslims and Jews and probably pagans and Zoroastrians all lived together. There were lots of periods of time where that was the case.
I wonder what that's like.
For someone else to find out. Am I the drone circling high, whirling tuneless, pie-eyed in the sky?
Am I the drone circling high, whirring tuneless, pie-eyed in the sky?
What does pie-eyed mean?
Drunk.
Is it really?
I looked it up. I wanted to confirm it. It's not. I thought it was just like kind of like silly, hopeless, like
Yeah, because
naive,
pie in the sky means,
hopeful.
yeah, like too hopeful.
Yeah.
But pie-eyed means drunk.
Pie-eyed is drunk.
So Ian is doing this classic thing where he's putting two phrases that have no business having anything to do with each other
Mixed metaphor.
together in a glass jar and shaking them until
Shaking
they
them.
mate.
And it's a very delicious vinaigrette.
Yeah. So pie-eyed in the sky is both drunk with maybe power,
Drunk with power,
but also hopeful.
drunk and hopeful.
Just one more drone, that'll solve it.
I just want one more drunk. No, you're driving home.
You're
I'm
cut
cutting
off.
you off.
Drones are, of course, used a lot in modern surveillance and warfare.
And warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're seeing that more and more.
Mm-hmm.
We have our kind of proto-chorus A.
Yeah, it's very hard to break down this song in terms of actual structure.
It's easy to break down.
Yeah.
It's not so easy to break down this song. Angry gods of retribution, driving hate without solution.
Angry gods of retribution, driving hate without solution.
Yeah, it kind of speaks for itself.
Yeah, I mean, without taking any position on the current violence, the history of the last 50 to 75 years between Jews and Muslims in the area seems to have been, well, you did this, so we're going to do this. Well, you did this, so we're going to do this. Well, you did this, so we're going to do it 10 times more.
Which is retribution.
Which is retribution.
Yeah.
Without solution.
Yeah, driving hate without solution. My great-great-granddad hated your people, therefore
Right.
I hate your people. And we are literally just fighting because we hate one another. We're not looking for a solution here. We're not looking. The only solution is if all of you die and my people are here to rule this city.
And that seems to certainly be one of the solutions that is being pursued at the current moment.
Yeah.
And how long? I mean, how many diplomatic missions have there been to try to find a peaceful solution?
Ones that have actually tried to do it legitimately as opposed to making it a false, just a political move.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, it's been a good couple decades since the last one,
Right.
I think.
City home to all who came and ever will.
City home to all who came never will.
There is something interesting that, throughout all this violence, throughout all these changes of management, Jerusalem itself still exists, and somebody's still baking bread, and somebody's still getting up in the morning and making coffee.
Yeah. It's
Under what circumstances it changes, but
right.
the city itself is kind of more eternal than that
For now.
for now. Long lost tribes, invaders of old, staking their claim to spiritual gold. Layers of antiquity buried below, each with a sad tale to better not know.
Long lost tribes, invaders of old, staking their claim to spiritual gold. Layers of antiquity buried below, each with a sad tale to better not know.
Wow.
So one of the roots of this whole argument is that it's multiple people's promised land, right? And if we can't live here,
Yeah.
you can't live here. What was it? World War II, where they kicked the Jews had nowhere to go,
Right.
right? Like,
Right.
so someone was like, oh yeah, move into Jerusalem.
Well, and of course there were Jews in Jerusalem at that time, but
Right.
but part of the resolution, quote unquote, of the redrawing of the Middle East
Right.
after World War II, which was done by European powers who had won the war.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of it was pretty arbitrary. I mean, the modern shape of Iraq, Iran, and Israel all exists based on some very arbitrary, like, oh yeah, well this'll do.
Yeah.
Speaking of long lost tribes, that could refer to the various tribes of the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
It could also refer to the various tribes of Arabs and other groups.
Yeah.
Invaders of old, right? Jerusalem has been conquered by the Egyptians, the Greeks, the Romans, the Byzantinians, everybody else,
Yeah.
the Jews.
Staking their claim to spiritual gold again, because
Right.
this is our promised land. This is where we're supposed to return to. This is where
Right.
Jesus is,
So
etc.
So to be specific about it, we have the first temple, which was built by King David. We have the birthplace of Jesus
Mhm.
and the death place of Jesus. So we have the whole Jesus story wrapped up there.
The Jesus cycle.
The Jesus cycle.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
I was going to say, I always wash my clothes on the Jesus cycle. They never get wet.
They just float. They just float on the water.
It's so strange. And then, of course, it is sacred as well to the Muslims with
Yeah.
the big rock.
Sounds right.
Yep. There is a very big rock. It is purported to be of spatial origins. It's a meteor, some people say, but it's very strictly guarded
Oh wow.
in Jerusalem, and it is built with an Islamic shrine around it, a gold top dome over it.
Has 4.8 stars on Google. Actually,
Who reviewed it 1 star?
not enough rock.
and people, Muslims make pilgrimages there. So, and it is also of significance to the Christians and Jews. So and literally there are fistfights that happen in the temple because people are in the wrong line or saying, oh, you're not supposed to visit this time. It's our turn. Like, pretty nuts.
It's so stupid. It's so stupid.
From the outside, it seems but I'm sure if you're in that belief system, it's like, well, how could they possibly think that it's important to them? It's important to us. That's that failure a lack of imagination in thinking about other people's experiences.
Among, I think, many other things, but yeah,
I mean, I found a cool rock and been like, no, it's mine.
this is mine. You hoarded it.
Yeah.
That's when you punched me in the nose. I just wanted to see the rock.
Don't touch my dome. Layers of antiquity buried below. I mean, literally, there are layers and layers in any ancient city like this. They just build on top of what's below.
Yeah, and this one probably more than others has
Massacres.
suffered some serious damage,
Some heartburn.
some heartburn.
There is no time for meditation, pause for thought or hesitation, set in stone from pledges to fulfill.
There is no time for meditation, pause for thought or hesitation, set in stone firm pledges to fulfill.
angry god of retribution. We cycle back to that part of the chorus.
Yep.
Interesting that in what on paper could be the most spiritual, meditative city on earth,
Yeah. Right.
what we in fact find is militarization, capitalism, all the things that say go, 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 go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't hesitate.
Yeah, because if you hesitate, someone else can get the upper hand.
Right. Someone else can get the upper rock.
Upper rock.
Speaking of which,
Rocks upon rocks.
ashes on ashes.
Bagels and locks.
Warak Dawali.
Rocks upon rocks, ashes on ashes, bagels and blocks, Warwick the Welly.
Warak Diwali.
What's that mean?
It's grape leaves.
No.
It's Domas. Yep.
Is it really?
Yeah.
And I love that he's connecting then this notion. I mean, he's in the way that only Ian can.
Mm.
He's taking these various threads of reality, spiritualism, and history, and weaving them together into a beautiful Harris tweed.
Yeah.
There are literally rocks on rocks,
Mm-hmm.
ashes on ashes. That's part of the Christian burial rite. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Bagels on locks is a famous kind of a New York Jewish thing.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's been repatriated.
Mm-hmm.
And then grape leaves.
Warak Diwali is...
That's just kind of a...
Many cultures have stuffed grape leaves. Yeah.
Right, but in that area specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? The grape leaves themselves are not Jewish, Christian, or Muslim. They're just grape leaves.
They're just Islamic grape leaves.
Divisible loaves, 2 fishes from the Galilee.
Divisible loaves, 2 fish from the Galilee.
What is the Galilee?
It's a lake, I think, or a sea rather.
Let's find
It's a sea. Galilee is a sea. That's how I remember it. It's a region, but it's also
The Sea of Galilee
There we
is
go,
a internal sea.
right. It's a landlocked sea.
It looks really pretty. Look at that.
That is gorgeous scenery right there. Lovely mountains, a little orchard.
Probably a kibbutz. Kibbutz. As friends sit and dine, take water and wine.
As friends sit and dine, take water and wine.
Just interesting little historical mention. Wine used to commonly not be drunk on its own. It was mixed with water.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was actually a higher concentration than what we have today.
Yeah.
And I forget if you pour the water into the wine or the wine into the water, but you do it in a certain way to part of it is about purifying the water.
Sure, like small beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can really, I remember being in Italy and for lunch, the farmer that I was staying with would pour a little bit of wine into a glass, just a tiny little bit, fill the rest with water. And then that's what his kids would drink.
Yeah.
And even him at lunchtime would have kind of watered wine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and also the water to wine Jesus reference.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Friends sit and dine. That could refer to any of the various feast holidays that are so beautiful in Judaism. It could refer to the Last Supper.
Mm-hmm. And then the divisible loaves and 2 fish from Galilee is the miracle.
One of the miracles of Jesus. Yeah. There's nothing to eat.
We have 2 tuna fish sandwiches. What do we do?
Well, yeah, now we have 1,000 tuna fish sandwiches. Yay.
We've got 3 people here. What do we do?
We have only 1 stick of gum.
Jesus went way overboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll warm them all up in this miracle microwave. No, please don't.
No,
Oh,
food poisoning.
It's going to take forever to clean.
He made one person with food poisoning into thousands of people with food poisoning.
I walk the cobbled alleys nervously. Soldier girls and soldier boys stare at me. Down the line, out of time, switch alliance in my mind.
I walk the cobbled alleys nervously. Soldier girls, soldier boys stare at me. Down the line, out of time, switch alliance in my mind.
Okay. So, I don't know about the city of Jerusalem itself, but obviously the entire area is highly militarized, at least at this point.
Yeah.
Who has been able to avoid hearing about the rocket attacks coming from the Gaza Strip into Jerusalem, the drone attacks going from, and rocket attacks going from, I guess missiles, going from Jerusalem into the Gaza Strip, and lots of soldiers everywhere, lots of checkpoints.
Yeah.
The Israeli military is a fairly impressive institution.
They invented Krav Maga, right?
They invented Krav Maga.
Yeah.
I believe that military service is obligatory in Israel.
I would imagine so.
Unless you're one of the super Orthodox groups.
Yeah. Yeah. And soldier girls and soldier boys stare at me. They start them young. They start that hatred young.
Yeah. And so is he seeing actual soldiers, or is he seeing actual children who
Future soldiers.
who are future soldiers, or who are playing at being soldiers?
Yeah, right. And regardless, they stare at me because I'm not one of them.
Right.
Yeah. Out of time, switch alliance in my mind.
I imagine it's very easy when you hear either side of the story to be like, wow, you guys really, really are the good guys.
Yeah.
And then to hear the other side of the story and go like, ooh.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
you're the
see
good
why
guys.
you are angry about this.
But then, of course, nobody's the good guy.
Which is what makes it so goddamn hard.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Why no one person can win, and that's why it has not ended. Because we can't just be like, okay, nobody gets to play in the park.
Right. Right. And
It's just too messy.
there are situations where a decision is made in a military context, or in a government context, or an economic context, that says, yeah, well, we're just going to change this land to be this type of thing instead of what it is now. But what it is now could be an olive orchard that is thousands of years old, that is being farmed by the descendants of the people who planted it.
Right.
So it's lots of big feelings.
Lots of big feelings, lots of loss. Lots of points against religion, I would say.
Yeah, religion don't come out of this looking too nice.
Too nice. Not too nice, indeed.
Not too nice. And that is actually the end of the lyrics, because then we have a rare repeat of a line. We have, I walk the cobbled alleys nervously, soldier girls and soldier boys stare at me, down the line out of time to switch alliance in my mind. We have repeat exactly that.
Mm-hmm.
We jump back to the beginning. Am I the hawk? Am I the dove? Am I the vulture? And then we end with, there is no time for meditation, pause for thought or hesitation. So it almost, kind of like you were saying with the previous track, it almost is a parallelogram.
Palindrome.
But it's almost a palindrome, but not quite. It's a dyslexic palindrome.
That's right. It's wibbly wobbly.
It's wibbly wobbly. I take my bread with oil that is olivey.
I'm not over Jerusalem.
Woof. Good thing we're getting lighter after this, right, Omen?
Right. Yeah.
Right?
What's coming after this track for next week, Nick?
Drink from the same well.
I bet that sounds fun. Who doesn't
like well water?
Who doesn't love well water? And who doesn't love drinking?
A little splish splash.
Yeah. I think it's the Rubber Ducky song.
Yes, that's right.
Interestingly, Nick.
Tell me.
So we've been reading the lyrics not off of Silent Singing, because Silent Singing predates the creation of this album.
Yes.
We are looking at the actual album insert itself, and I hope it does. And there are images on behind the lyrics, and I think that is the gate of the Via Dolorosa. I believe that is,
which we heard, I think, in Thick as a Brick 2.
Look at that. Is that not?
Could be The Way of Pain. It was the path that Christ took on the way to
the crucifixion.
To crucifixion, I believe.
Or, as they say in Latin, the crucifixion.
The Via Dolorosa.
I do think that's what it is.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
Alternately, I think it's, because you see there's a palm tree there.
Yeah.
So that to me does say Southern Mediterranean. I think it's some door, some significant door in Jerusalem.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I don't think it really fits Stygian hand all that well. That's sharing that page. If nothing else, like it's some random old
Maybe
ass
it's-
door.
Maybe it's the Jaffa Gate.
The Jaffa Cake?
It's the Jaffa Cake Gate.
The Tomb of the Virgin, you're not allowed in there.
Tomb of the Virgin, not when I get done with it.
Not anymore.
Wow.
Gross.
Jeez. Yeah, so next week we'll be drink from the same well.
Yep.
Until then, I am staring nervously. I'm Omen Thomas Sade.
I'm swooping down from above. I am Nick McGill.
Are we the hawk? Are we the dove? No, we're the factless momes.
And these are tuneless whirrings. This is Talk Tall to Me.
There was your Amazon order.
Human kindness is a funny thing, isn't it? It seems so simple a concept, and yet, I've always relied on the kindness of strangers, and I've often relied on the strangeness of kinders. It's a simple concept to love one's neighbors, but the practice appears to perturb the practitioner. We should all be so sticky and warm and lovely to one another to teach the world to be sticky and warm and lovely to others. For to be sticky and warm and lovely, I must admit, and I don't mind telling you, is my very reason for being. I ask that you extend your arms, hug the hairdresser, grope the grocer, pat the priest, embrace me like a lover. Human contact and compassion can go a long way, a way that may very well be paved with broken glass, hot coals, and errant cats that just can't stop getting underfoot. But together, we can clean that walk. We can replant it with native pollinator-friendly plants. So to take someone into our arms is not a painful process, but pleasant. It doesn't hurt, it helps. Close your eyes and imagine for me, if you will, my supple, eager, questing body open to your touch. You close those long, luscious limbs about my frame and hold me tight. Now bear in mind that consent is the most sensual thing in the world, baby. But also, not every Neanderthal knows they need a moment of basic bliss. That's absolutely a-okay. Meet them at their level. Smiles, nods, handshakes, high fives, fist bumps can all make a difference. Sure, you'll get some strange and some surly looks, but the more we do, the less weird we will be. Oh, and one more thing. The most important thing, no matter what you do, you make direct eye contact and whisper these words so that only they can hear. Talk Tull to Me is a proud member of the Feckless Momes Audio Network.